Welcome back to Northwest City Politics in the Know with Juanita. We're glad that you're joining us for our show again this evening. We're always happy for people like you that are interested in what's happening in our cities. Because for good government, you need people that are active as mayors and city council people. You need the staff that your city runs on, but you also need residents that are interested in following what's happening in their cities. So we're glad you're with us. If you haven't watched our show before, each week we'll have somebody on from one of the 9 city councils or their mayors to kind of update us on what's been happening in that particular city. And if it's your city, write down the email and the phone number of the people involved. And if an issue comes up that really kind of resonates with you, get in contact with them. And we always encourage you to volunteer for the kinds of jobs your city needs doing. So we're very happy tonight to have Dr. Mark Schulz, who's on the Osseo City Council.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, you've been ongoing guests, right?
It's fun.
That we enjoy having you.
Thank you.
Now, you know that I'm going to have you introduce yourself out to our wider audience.
I do.
Tell them a little bit about yourself and your time in Osseo.
Well, my family and I moved to Osseo in 2004, and then in 2008 I was quickly drafted by my neighbors to run for city council. And so ran through that, was elected in 2010. I'm now serving my 3rd term on the Osseo City Council. And when we had the opportunity to move our business to Osseo, we did that as well. So it's a very fun place for my family and our dog to live.
Right. You've got a lot of experience in a lot of different areas of your city than before you got on the city council.
I've heard people reference it like it's trying to take a drink out of a fire hose. And so it's a lot of information coming at you very quickly that is very challenging to take in. And, you know, I'm a chiropractor by trade, so government and government policy was never something that I learned. So you had to learn very quickly.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Now we'll switch to a topic. You're putting in a new gateway LED sign.
My favorite topic.
So why are you putting up a new? Is there a sign up already?
It's up. It's up and working.
No, before this one came. Was there one?
We did. Yep, we had a couple of different ways to do that. So the new sign is up on 81 and Central or Jefferson Highway. Okay. And so it's actually in the location of where our really, really old police station used to be. And prior to that, across the street, we've had one of those red message board signs that you used to see so popular with like little red light bulbs and everything in there. That was underneath our big, huge white sign. And that stopped working a while ago, and quite frankly, we couldn't get replacement parts for it. And so we started looking at, do we replace this? Do we upgrade? We looked at several things. Additionally, across the street from that, on the other side, people that are familiar with Osseo will see large banners and stuff that get put out there from time to time. And so that's going to stop in favor of the new LED message board that we put up.
And so what kinds of things will you put on your message board?
Well, it's primarily designed, it was kind of just give you some history on what it is before I hop into there.
Please do that.
It was when we started looking at these other ways to get information out and constantly trying to stay on top of how people get information. Because if you mention email to my 12 and 15-year-old daughters, they're going to look at you like they don't know what you're talking about. Okay, it's either Facebook is even out of sorts with them now. You have to Snapchat them. Do you know what Snapchat is?
I just know the word. That's all I know.
There you go. But so trying to figure out a way to do it, and the easiest way that we could do it is a large center. So we designed a memorial because that corner. So that would be technically the southwest corner of County Road 81 and Jefferson Highway and Central, and it was in really, really horrible disrepair. And it was one of those things that's like, what do you do with this? And one of the other council members brought up one time, so like, it's really bad, we should do something about this. And I'm like, okay, let's put up, that's a great place for a gateway sign, because we have thousands of cars a day going through that intersection. And if you're not really paying attention, you're not going to see the little red and white Osseo, welcome to Osseo signs that are on the side of the road. And actually one side never had them. So we received a huge grant from Hennepin County for economic development. And then we then so we started a group to look at things. So representatives of the business community and residents and council people, and we got together to kind of look at what the sign should look like and what it should be like. And so we kind of tried to take it off of some of the elements, architectural elements that we already had with the pillars entering the city on Central Avenue. So we built that into that and then put a 14-foot by 7-foot LED message center on there.
That's good size. That'll catch people's attention.
It is. If you were far enough away from it, it would almost be similar to. It has a capability to actually stream movies. You could do that there, but it's an intersection, of course. So we put that up and just got it powered up about 2 weeks ago. And so, in addition to the Hennepin County funds, we also put out a letter to our business community asking if anybody wanted to sponsor.
Sure.
So we had several businesses and residents put up funds for it, and then our Economic Development Authority kicked into it. So because of the fact that it's primarily economic development related as part of the funding sources, what we did is we actually have done things that we pioneered new ground in the fact that most of these community type signs like that don't really have an advertising type component to it. And so we had to try to figure out good policies to the point where our business owners could participate and get information out to people. The city could use it to do different messages about our events that we're having in town, and our summer movie and concert series, and any type of city announcements, and whatever else, snow emergency announcements, things like that. So we had to put together a policy, and in doing so, we had to try to figure out a way to get good content on there, try to minimize the offensive content, because anybody can offend anybody at any time nowadays.
Yeah, nowadays.
So we wanted to minimize that. And then, in addition, we wanted to try to keep that component for economic development, which is promoting our businesses, letting people know what's there and different things. And so we came up with what I think is a really good policy that allows businesses to use that advertising venue for some type of an event that's related to them. So if you're good at marketing, you can make an event out of anything.
Oh yeah, you can,
and we locked it down to only Osseo-based businesses. So if you are a business or a church or something else that does not own property in Osseo, you can't use it.
Okay, it's fair.
And it is, and it's just a way to try to also help walk back some of the other problems. Is like, should we let this person use it? Should we use this person? Nope, just cut it down to the point where it's like that. So it's a really, really neat thing. We've got 2 city staff people that are there to help program it, and the businesses are able to utilize it for up to a week. So usually that rolls over on Sunday or Monday. I can't recall which day. They can use it for up to a week to advertise their event. And in doing so, to help defray maintenance costs, they get 2 seconds, 8 to 10 seconds every 2 minutes of every hour of every day for a week for $100.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So and and it can be changed up by day to day. It's so interactive. It's all run by a computer, so you can do anything. So we're just really hoping that it's going to draw people's attention to our businesses, get them to turn onto Central Avenue or turn down Jefferson Highway. And I've already had tons of complaints, but compliments saying, I didn't realize all this stuff was happening in Osseo. So it's already working. Which is exactly
so it's a really good cooperative thing with your businesses.
That was our intent.
In a different way.
Yeah, it was our intent because we needed to figure out a way to shore up our commercial part. Because, they're taxpayers too.
Oh, definitely.
And, when we built some projects over the fact, some of our businesses saw a huge increase in revenue. And so generally when it comes to property taxes, it's going to be the commercial people that are going to, they're going to talk to you first. And at one conversation I had with one of the businesses, I said, I want to talk about this, and I wasn't in support of this. He's like, you don't have to worry about taxes here because this has helped my business so much that I'm more than happy to pay what it takes. To be here. And so you change the whole tone of that business.
It becomes positive.
Yep, and trying to bring the community and the business owners even more together, which is super important in a small city like Osseo.
Yeah, word of mouth goes a long ways, right?
Most of it's good, yes.
All right, then we'll talk a little bit about redevelopment. What are the newest businesses that have come into Osseo? over the past
year
months,
or so,
past
6
year?
months, yeah. We've had probably the biggest business that's come in recently is Red Savoy opened a location.
Okay.
In Osseo. So Red Savoy Pizza, the famous Savoyan from St. Paul. They've been franchising, and I think we were probably one of the first franchises out there. So that's a great business that came in. We had a flooring store come in to one of our vacant properties. We've had last year, probably maybe even a little bit longer, but we've got a dog grooming place that came in. That may be a little bit more. We got a clothing boutique that came in. K & Company Clothing Boutique came in. Right across the street from my house on Central is the Painted Turtle chocolate place. Definitely worth a trip. I guarantee.
Oh, I haven't tried that. I'll have to go try it.
And then a really novel thing that came in was this concept called Studio Pink, which was a bunch of Mary Kay directors that got together and created a resource place for their teams to hold meetings and trainings and things like that. So I think right now, if I'm not mistaken, there's only one vacant storefront on Central Avenue.
Oh, that's very good.
So yeah, it's very, very busy. There's a couple over on the side streets, but right on Central Avenue, it's pretty full.
And then I just thought we'd touch on some things that people might not know when they hear about them. You have an economic development authority, and maybe people don't even know what it is when they see a reference in the newspaper. So I thought since we're in redevelopment, we could give them a little 1-2 about it.
Every city has one in Minnesota. It's just how you choose to operate it. So many cities use their council as the primary arm of that. In Osseo, we many years ago had put business leaders and council people and everybody together on this, and residents, to really have a good voice. And so when we were faced with some different challenges, we made a decision to keep it that way. Of our current council, I think 4 of us from the council serve on the Economic Development Authority, and then there's 3 additional people that are either residents or business owners that also serve on that. I'm currently the vice president of that authority. This year I've been the treasurer for I don't know how long. But its whole purpose is to figure out ways to deal with economic developing the city around. And the EDAs have different authority levels on what they can do via statute and cities can do and how they make money. But primarily that's the source that is funded through like returns on tax increment financing, and which is a development tool, which we could talk for days about and still not understand it. But so that's just there to help keep our business climate stabilized and also promote the city in general. So often we'll deal with talking about events to bring people to town. Because if you bring people to town, they see what you have. And if they see what you have, then they patronize, and
then they can come back.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, are there any areas of your city left to be redeveloped?
Well,
that the city's looking at now?
There's there's like 3 different areas. Just about 2 weeks ago or a week ago, we had a presentation on some areas and that's for Osseo, it's redevelopment. We don't have any, we have no open land anymore. We had some, but we've filled all that up now. And so we looked at 3 key project areas. One project area was up on the north end of town, kind of on the end of Central Avenue on the east side. Another was down off of Jefferson Highway, kind of down near where the cemetery is there. Another one is a property, Celtic Crossing apartment building, had 2 buildings on it and had 3 additional open lots there. That recently changed hands, so we've got an opportunity there. We've had direct dialogue with the easiest of the ones to redevelop, which would be that Celtic Crossing area, and that's currently owned by Highland Management out of Edina. And talked to them about, we've got developers interested, and we've talked, different financing packages and things like that. And because of how everything is in flux, before it was a whole lot of moving into high density residential. And now, because of the different way things are going, some people are going into new home startups and home purchasing. So they're just kind of waiting to see what the market's going to do as far as whether it's going to call better for townhomes development or some other areas. And just trying to kind of just look at some of the older stuff that might make sense to acquire.
Right.
to give us that, because we're also forced to look at that through, which I'm sure there's something you're going to ask about here in a second, through our new comprehensive plan, and the Met Council.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get on that. Right.
Is telling us that we need to create new residence for people in our small town. So it's like, how do you do that?
Oh, right. Now, there's challenges, and the perfect segue into the comprehensive plan.
Creativity.
Now, people might not be aware of it, but they might have heard the term, like we were talking about Economic Development Authority. But all of our cities need to do it. So give a little structure to the Met Council, because people see it in the paper, but give us just a brief outline of them and the comprehensive plan and their role in it.
What I know of the Met Council, was originally designed to be a regional authority to help coordinate wastewater.
Right.
Okay, because everybody touches upon each other, and to try to centralize and coordinate that for growth is one. So kind of depending upon what camp that you reside in, people have different thoughts about the Met Council,
most definitely.
And whether it's overreaching and whether it's underreaching and whatever else. But part of their long-term planning is to deal with population density. So they use predictive algorithms and other research stats to determine where they think the city is going to be. And right now we are working on the 2040 update. So every 10 years update, we're currently working off the 2030. Now we're pushing out to 2040, and they're telling us that we need to do different things. So we really wanted to, like a lot of our other things that we go after, we wanted to make sure we had public input. So
definitely.
We solicited representatives from our planning commission, from our EDA, from the business environment, from the residential environment. We actually specifically sought out students from the high school also to participate in this, because they're going to be the people that are going to be hopefully moving things in 2040 for us. So we brought all these people together. We've had several meetings. One of the big focuses is a park redevelopment across the street from our city hall. But so many different factors, and all basically is that we're sitting here now in 2017 predicting what we want our city to look like in 2040. And that's a challenging thing.
And every city in the area has to do that.
Every city within the Met Council's purview, correct, yes.
So that it's a time-consuming process, but it does make you do planning for the future, right?
Yes, it's very time-consuming, and it's also very financially burdensome as well. So it's a very expensive plan. But you have to have that to look forward. So I think it's a good tool. The criticism on it is for somebody like us, where are we going to find room for 500 more people? And so that's part of it. But we got down to talking about street interchanges, and one of the conversations that still I reflect on is that one of the high school students, when we were talking about stop signs and traffic management and all that kind of stuff, suggested that we have traffic signals at every corner near the high school. Because, and I to paraphrase her words, nobody looks at stop signs anyways. So that stimulated some other conversation. But it's nice to get it's nice to get the young people in there, and the young people get a lot out of it by understanding the different pieces of how that works. So I've been to a couple of the different ones. We've got 2 representatives from the business community, which I'm actually representing on this particular procedure, but I hear a lot being council member too. So, and Amy will give input that way. We're rolling close to the point in time where we're going to start putting everything together. And we had to hire consultants from our engineering firm to facilitate the process, because they're familiar with it and we're not. So
because they know what has to be in the completed plan.
And it's exhaustive. I mean, just the finances alone, it's approaching or close to being over $100,000 that it's going to cost to do this project.
No, it is. And I've got a list of, and did you do individual meetings, or when, because I got a list of all the things that have to be in there. There's things about how you're going to do land use, what's going to happen to your housing, what's going to happen to your transportation, your park and trails and recreation things. You don't have much open space, do you?
We have 2 parks. We have 2 parks in town.
And then dealing with water, surface water that runs off, and then your water supply and the sanitary sewer. So there's a whole raft of subjects.
A lot of things. And so, that's where you get into it. I mean, again, originally it was Met Council was designed to deal with sanitary sewer issues.
Right.
And now you look at all this other stuff that's in here, and
that have added along the years.
But it's all from their perspective, something that feeds into the whole compartment. We talked about the important part about the city, about certain things flowing away from your house, which is one of those core values.
Right. So. Now, the comprehensive plan that you did for 10 years ago is available on your website, right?
Yes, yes.
So if there's people out there that say, what in the world is this? I want to learn more, because there might be a few, right?
Yeah, that's great.
Right, that they could go there and actually look at what you're doing. Then, because you've been having meetings since what, January, February?
Probably. It sounds like forever. It's been for quite some time, but we knew that it was going to take a better part of a year to get this information. But yeah, you can go on our website, and in the upper right-hand corner on the website, if you type in 2030 comprehensive plan, you can negotiate all of the other things. But otherwise, it's also on our planning. It's under the community development link on our website, and then planning, and then there's a little blue link and that says 2030 comprehensive plan update. So you can download, gosh, I think there's 80 to 100 pages of information there.
Right.
It's very detailed.
So people might be interested in parts of it, not the whole, right?
Yep. It's a PDF file, so you can do whatever you want to with it.
So if people are concerned what's going to happen in the future in a particular area, this is the time to get their input in, right?
Yeah, and it's a guide. It's our best guess. And and honestly, one of the things that we have always done is we tried to respond to what the business climate, what the residents want, rather than forcing people down a certain path. That's just kind of been the pillar of my tenure since 2010 is that, help people understand what they want, help people get what they want, and then they're going to help us get to where we want to go. And it's worked out so far. So it's a good guide for us to look at things. And then also as, cities will purchase homes and purchase buildings and things like that. To try to target larger areas where you can put bigger projects, because you can't put a 140 unit apartment complex on a quarter-acre lot. It just doesn't work. So those big things, and that's some of the projects that I was talking about. And people can get more information going on our last city council meeting, which is all on our website, and you can see the whole presentation that was laid out.
Yeah, that's a good way.
So if you need some easy ways to go to sleep at night, go ahead and look at some of those meetings.
And then see what's being looked ahead for the future.
Exactly, yes.
And then it definitely affects your redevelopment, because your redevelopment has to be in line with that plan, or otherwise you have to get kind of a variance on it?
Well, it's you strive to try to get to some of these things, and we're still talking, at this point out 20 years. So there's a lot of things that will flux and move, and if you choose not to do it this time, or you redevelop it a different way because that's how the market's responding at that point in time, then you have to just address that in your next 10-year update plan.
Okay. And then this plan isn't due until the end of 2018. So there's a process and a time, and now you're getting like halfway through the process?
Right. Yeah, we have to get through the process, because then each of our neighboring cities gets an opportunity to review our plan. And we get a chance to review theirs and add comments. And so that can just get really, really, really crazy. But yeah, I know it has to be submitted in 2018, but pretty much has to be done by the end of 2018.
So anybody that's interested in what's going to happen in the future in planning, follow through on this comprehensive plan.
Yep, you're going to get a whole lot of information in a very small space. Yes.
Now we'll move to something that your city does often. You have movies and concerts in the park for the summer. And how many Beer Bomb Park?
I've always pronounced it Boerboom, but I don't know.
Boerboom Park. I wasn't sure if I was going to pronounce it right.
That's okay.
Is right in the center of your main street, right?
Yes. Yes.
And so this is where they happen, for people that aren't familiar with that. And how many concerts and things will be there this summer? There was a lot when I looked on your website.
Yeah, this year we started our concert series back in June, and it looks like we've got 11 concerts and 5 movies that we're doing this year.
Now this is always on Tuesday nights, right?
Yes, we keep it to Tuesdays.
And this is sort of like a focal point, because you have some performances that are at 7, but you also have movies that start a little later, And you have, I think when we were talking beforehand, you said your farmer's market is in gear during that period of time.
Correct, yes. Our farmer's market runs on Tuesdays. It used to shut down before everybody would come together for these events. And so I think it was last year, maybe this year, we made a chance. We asked them to see if they would stay later, which is great because you get a new influx of people. But originally, that whole program started off with some volunteers that ran the movies and then threw a concert or two in there. And this year, in order to deal with this and some of the different stuff from the comprehensive plan, we created last year a park and rec commission or committee, if you will. And so they started looking at these things, and so we let them kind of look through it. So this year, they decided to come up with.
What are some of the concerts that are left to come yet to be?
Sure, they came up with this schedule. So tonight, for example, there wasn't a concert. It was the Snake Discovery Center. And then here, as we're taping, I think we're going to be kicking off the wildlife movie.
Okay.
But we've got June 27th, Lead Penny, which is a local classic rock band. On July 11th, because we skipped the 4th, was the Scally Line, which is kind of history and songs. On the 18th, it's the Dirty Shorts Brass Band.
Oh, interesting.
It's a fun name, at least. Yeah. On July 25th, we have a presentation, Wise with Waste. So I think it looks to me like it's some kind of a presentation on recycling and such. And then after that is the movie WALL-E at 8:30. On August 8th, one of my favorite concerts I'm looking forward to go to this year is the Classic Big Band concert. August 15th is kind of a holdover. There's nothing really planned for a concert that particular day, but at 8:30 we're playing the movie Moana.
Okay.
So if any of these other ones rain out, it's going to kind of roll towards the 15th.
Right, you got a time to do it.
On August 22nd is Bad Mojo, which is a local rock band. And at 8:30, we're going to be playing the Lego Batman movie, and our police and fire departments are going to be there intertwining with the kids during that. And then on August 29th, which is our last event there's not currently a 7 p.m. performance planned, but the movie The Mighty Ducks is scheduled to be playing that day.
And you get a good turnout for these events, don't you?
We have in the past. It all kind of depends upon what's there and what interests the people. But kids of all ages are there. It's one of the things that we get. The younger kids, then we get, the teens. They'll come out just because it's a nice place to hang out. And there's always parents, and it's always a very, very good, quiet, just fun evening.
Good family event if you're looking for one.
Absolutely. And it's free of charge. And there's usually one of our members from the Lions has their ice cream bicycle there. So it's got this cooler on a bike. Otherwise, local churches or other people like that will do concessions. So there's always concessions on site. But then you also have Dean's Supermarket, which is just right down the street, which is a great place to stop for snacks and drinks and that kind of stuff. So
we'll encourage people to.
Yes,
and that's on your website too, so people can look.
Our website is a really good place to pick up all kinds of information.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming and sharing your ideas and your experience, so that our audience can learn more about what's happening in Osseo. We're glad that you've been with us, and we hope you'll be back. Bye.